If your wife looks relieved when the police arrest you, it's already too late. Because that's not the moment you lose everything. That's the moment you realize she already took it. At 6:42 in the morning, my front door exploded open. Armed officers flooded my house like I was some kind of criminal mastermind. I was half awake, holding a cup of coffee I never got to drink, trying to understand what was happening. And then I saw her, my wife, standing behind them. Not crying, not shocked, not confused. Calm. Too calm. That was the first thing that didn't make sense. But when your reality collapses in seconds, your brain doesn't look for clues, it looks for survival. They put me in handcuffs in my own kitchen, the same kitchen I had renovated, the same house I had paid for, the same life I thought I had built with someone who loved me. Outside, neighbors were watching, whispering, judging, and I could feel my identity being stripped away before I even understood the charges. Fraud, money laundering, millions of dollars, accounts I had never seen, signed with my name, approved under my authority. It sounded insane. I kept saying it was a mistake over and over, like repetition could make it real. But the more I spoke, the more I sounded guilty. At the station, they showed me everything. Documents, signatures, transactions. Perfect. Too perfect. Every piece of evidence pointed to me with surgical precision. That's when fear changed into something else. Confusion. Not panic, not yet. Just the realization that something had been built around me. Something detailed, something intentional. But I still didn't connect it to her. Not yet, because your mind protects you from that level of betrayal, until it can't anymore. The trial is where everything broke. She took the stand and looked at me like I was a stranger. 15 years, gone in a single expression. She said she didn't know anything, that she felt betrayed, that she was scared. And the way she said it, the timing, the tears, it was flawless. I watched the jury watch her, and that's when I understood. I had already lost, not because of the evidence, but because of perception. She looked like truth. I looked like a man trying to escape consequences. When the verdict came, I didn't react. No anger, no tears, no begging. Something inside me just shut down. 3 years. 3 years for a life I never lived. Prison isn't chaos, it's time. Endless time to think, to replay, to analyze. At first, anger, then denial, then something colder. Observation. You start watching people, listening, understanding patterns. Almost every man in there had one thing in common: betrayal. So I went back through my story, not emotionally, analytically. Conversations, documents, details I had ignored. And one day, something shifted. A signature. My signature, but not exactly. Too clean, too consistent, like it had been replicated. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just a setup, it was engineered. From that moment, everything changed. I stopped being a victim and started thinking differently. If it was built, it could be broken. That thought kept me alive for 3 years. When I got out, the world had moved on like I never existed. My house gone, my business sold, my accounts empty. She had everything, the money and the narrative. To everyone else, she was the survivor, I was the criminal. And that kind of reputation doesn't disappear. It follows you, it limits you. But when you lose everything, you also lose fear. And a man without fear is patient in a way most people don't understand. I didn't go after her, not immediately. That would have been emotional, predictable. Instead, I disappeared. Low-profile jobs, saving money, staying invisible. Not because I was weak, but because I was building something, quietly, carefully. A case. The breakthrough came from someone I almost forgot, an old IT specialist. When I found him, he pretended not to remember anything, but when I showed him the signature, his reaction said everything. Fear lies not. It took time, not threats, not violence, just pressure, silence, precision. Conversations that forced him to think, and eventually, he broke. Piece by piece. What he revealed wasn't just truth, it was a blueprint. Fake accounts, structured transactions, digital signature replication. And at the center of it all, her. Not an accomplice, the architect. She didn't frame me, she designed a reality where I couldn't defend myself. Most people would go to the police immediately. I didn't, because truth is powerful, but timing is everything. Move too early and she adapts. I needed certainty, not hope. So I kept building. Lawyers, experts, financial trails, every detail aligned, slow, precise, unbreakable. And when the moment came, I chose the time carefully. 6:42 in the morning. I stood at her door, not as the man she destroyed, but as someone she no longer understood. When she opened it, I saw it. Confidence, control, certainty. Then she saw me. Calm. That's when it cracked. Behind me, officers, different faces, same authority. This time, the narrative wasn't hers. This time, the truth was structured, documented, final. She didn't scream, didn't cry. She just stood there, frozen, as the reality she created for me became hers. And in that moment, I felt nothing. No victory, no relief, just emptiness. Because revenge doesn't restore anything. It just closes the chapter. In prison, there was an old man. One day he said, the worst punishment for betrayal isn't revenge, it's exposure. I didn't understand it then. I do now. Because what destroyed her wasn't me, it was the truth. So if you've ever been betrayed, listen carefully. Your instinct will be to react, to fight, to prove them wrong immediately. That's what destroys most people. Emotion makes you predictable. Patience makes you dangerous. Don't chase closure. Don't beg for justice. Build something stronger than the lie told about you. And when the moment comes, let the truth speak in a way no one can ignore. And if this made you think, even for a second, subscribe. Because this isn't just a story about revenge. It's about awareness, control, and what really happens when you have nothing left to lose. Trust me, the calmest people are often the ones who planned everything. And sometimes they forget silence works both ways.
Most people think the story ends when the truth comes out. It doesn't. That's just where the real consequences begin. Because exposing someone doesn't just destroy them, it forces you to face what's left of you. After everything was over, after the investigations, the headlines, the slow reconstruction of my name, people expected me to go back to who I was. But that version of me didn't exist anymore. You don't walk through betrayal like that and come out the same. You either break or you rebuild differently. At first, I thought clearing my name would feel like freedom, like I'd get my life back. But that's not how it works. Because when your identity gets stripped away in front of everyone, even when the truth comes out, people don't forget what they believed about you. Some apologized, quietly, awkwardly. Others avoided me completely. And some still looked at me like I got away with something. That's when I understood something most people never realize. Reputation isn't destroyed by truth or lies. It's shaped by what people feel is easier to believe. And rebuilding that takes more than proof. It takes time. A lot of time. So I stopped trying to convince people. I stopped explaining. I stopped defending myself. Because I realized something. The more you try to fix your image, the more you stay trapped in it. Instead, I focused on something else. Control. Not control over others, control over myself. My decisions, my time, my reactions. Because that was the one thing no one could take from me anymore. I built slowly. New work, new routines, new habits. No shortcuts, no noise, no need for validation. And the more I did that, the quieter everything became. Not around me, inside me. That's the part no one talks about. After chaos comes silence. And in that silence, you start seeing things clearly. Not just what happened, but why it happened. I started replaying everything again, but this time differently. Not as a victim, as an observer. And patterns began to appear. Small moments I ignored. Conversations that didn't feel right. Decisions that didn't make sense at the time, but I accepted anyway. Not because I was blind, because I trusted. And that's the dangerous part. Trust doesn't just make you vulnerable, it makes you justify what shouldn't be justified. You explain things away, you ignore instincts, you choose comfort over clarity. Until one day, reality forces clarity on you, brutally. That's when I realized something even harder to accept. She didn't just betray me, I allowed the conditions for it to happen. Not consciously, not intentionally, but through small decisions repeated over time. That realization changes you, because it removes the illusion that you had no control. And once you see that, you stop being a victim completely. You become aware. And awareness
is dangerous. Because now you see things other people don't. The way people speak, the gaps in their stories, the moments where emotion doesn't match reality. You stop listening to words and start reading behavior. And once you do that, you can't go back. That's when relationships change. Not because you don't trust anymore, but because you trust differently, slowly, carefully, with observation before emotion. Most people think that makes you cold. It doesn't. It makes you precise. And precision protects you. I didn't become bitter. I didn't become angry. I became selective. With people, with opportunities, with everything. Because now I understood something most people learn too late. Not everyone who stands next to you is with you. And not every silence is harmless. Some silences are strategic, just like hers was. That calm I saw that morning, that wasn't peace. That was certainty. The kind of certainty that only comes from planning everything in advance. And that's what people underestimate. The most dangerous people aren't the loud ones. They're the calm ones, the patient ones, the ones who can wait while building something you don't even see. But what they forget is that patience works both ways. And when you've lost everything once, you learn how to use it better than they ever could. Today, I don't chase revenge. I don't chase validation. I don't even chase justice. I build, quietly, consistently. And that's something no one can take from me again. Because this time, it's not built on trust. It's built on awareness. So if you've ever been betrayed, don't rush to fix it. Don't rush to react. Take the time to understand it. Because the lesson hidden inside that pain is worth more than anything you lost. And once you learn it, no one will ever be able to use you like that again. Not because you're stronger, but because now you see.
There's something no one tells you about betrayal. It doesn't end when the person is gone. It stays with you. The way you think, the way you see people, the way you move through the world. At first, I thought rebuilding my life meant replacing what I lost. A new house, a new business, a new routine. But that's surface level. That's what people do when they're trying to feel normal again. I wasn't interested in normal, because normal is what made me vulnerable in the first place. So I did something different. I rebuilt from the inside out. Not my life, my standards, what I accept, what I ignore, what I walk away from without hesitation. Because that's where real control comes from. Not from power, from boundaries. And once you develop that, everything changes. You stop chasing people. You stop explaining yourself. You stop needing to be understood. And that's when something unexpected happens. People start revealing who they really are faster. Because when you remove your need for approval, you remove their ability to manipulate you. That's a level of freedom most people never reach. Not because it's impossible, but because it's uncomfortable. It forces you to let go of illusions about others and about yourself. Because the truth is, we don't just get betrayed by others. Sometimes we betray ourselves first, by ignoring what we feel, by accepting what we shouldn't, by staying when we know we should leave. That's the part that hurts the most. Not what they did, but what you allowed. And once you face that, you change permanently. You become harder to fool, harder to read, harder to break. Not because you built walls, but because you built awareness. And awareness doesn't block life, it filters it. Now, here's the part most people won't admit. Even after everything, there were moments I thought about her. Not with anger, not with hate, but with curiosity. How far was she willing to go if she hadn't been caught? How long had she been planning it before I noticed anything? And the most dangerous question of all, was there ever a moment where it was real? Or was everything just part of the plan? That's the kind of question that can destroy you if you let it, because it has no answer. And chasing answers that don't exist is how people stay trapped in the past. So I made a decision. I stopped asking questions that had no value and started focusing only on what moved me forward. Because closure isn't something you get from others, it's something you decide. And the moment you decide it, you take your power back, completely. That's when I understood something that changed everything. The opposite of betrayal isn't trust, it's self-respect. Because when you truly respect yourself, you don't stay where you're not valued. You don't ignore what feels wrong. You don't give unlimited access to people who haven't earned it. And most importantly, you don't need revenge. Because distance becomes enough. That's a different kind of strength. Quiet, invisible, but unshakable. Today, my life doesn't look like it used to. It's smaller, simpler, but it's real. Every decision is mine, every step is intentional, and every person around me is there by choice, not illusion. That's something I didn't have before. And ironically, losing everything is what gave it to me. So, if you're going through something right now, betrayal, loss, confusion, hear this carefully. What feels like the end is often the moment your real life begins. Not the comfortable version, not the easy version, the real one. The one where you see clearly, decide carefully, and move with intention. Because once you reach that point, you become very difficult to destroy. Not because nothing can hurt you, but because nothing can control you anymore. And that's the part most people never understand. Control isn't about others, it's about yourself. Always. So take your time, stay quiet, observe everything, and build something no one can take from you again. Not your name, not your peace, not your future. Because once you learn that, betrayal stops being an ending and becomes a beginning.
There's a moment after everything is over, when the noise finally disappears. No more accusations, no more explanations, no more past chasing you from behind. Just silence. And for most people, that silence is uncomfortable because it forces you to sit with yourself without distractions, without illusions. But for me, that silence became something else. Clarity. The kind of clarity you only get after losing everything that wasn't real. I stopped looking back, not because it didn't matter, but because I had already taken everything I needed from it. The lesson, the awareness, the understanding of how easily a life can be built on something fragile without you even realizing it. That's the dangerous part. Not betrayal itself, but how invisible it is while it's happening. Looking back now, I don't see a single moment where everything went wrong. I see 1,000 small moments where I chose comfort over truth, trust over instinct, silence over questions. That's how it happens. Not all at once, but slowly, quietly, until one day, it's too late. And that's why most people never see it coming. Because betrayal doesn't announce itself. It blends in, it adapts, it waits. Just like she did. But here's what matters. Not what happened, but what happens after. Because that's where most people fail. They stay stuck in the story. They replay it. They try to understand it. They try to fix something that already ended. And in doing that, they give it power, long after it's gone. I refuse to do that. I let it end, completely. No attachment, no need for answers, no need to rewrite the past. Because the past doesn't need to make sense for you to move forward. That's something I had to learn the hard way. And once I did, everything became simpler. Not easier, but clearer. I started trusting something different. Not people, not promises, patterns, consistency, energy. The things that don't lie, even when words do. And that changed everything. Now, when I meet someone, I don't listen to what they say first. I watch what they do. I notice what doesn't match. I pay attention to what most people ignore. Because the truth is always there, just not where people usually look. That's the difference now. I don't need time to reveal people. They reveal themselves almost immediately. And when they do, I don't react, I don't confront, I don't explain. I just adjust, quietly. That's power. Not control over others, control over access. Who gets close, who stays, and who disappears without a word. Because not every ending needs a conversation. Some just need distance. That's something I wish I understood earlier. It would have saved me years. But maybe that's the point. Some lessons you only learn after they cost you everything. And maybe that's why they stay with you forever. So no, I don't regret what happened. Not anymore. Because it forced me to become someone I would have never become otherwise. More aware, more precise, more real. And in a strange way, that's worth more than everything I lost. Because now, nothing I build can be taken from me the same way again. Not because I'm protected, but because I'm different. And that's something no one can manipulate. So if you take anything from this, let it be this. Pay attention. Not to what people say, but to what they show you consistently. Trust slowly, observe deeply, and never ignore that quiet feeling that tells you something isn't right. Because that feeling
is the only thing that sees the truth before it's too late. And if you learn to listen to it, you won't just avoid betrayal, you'll understand people in a way most never will. And once you reach that point, you don't fear losing people anymore, because you know exactly who never really was there. And maybe that's the real ending. Not revenge, not justice, clarity. Because in the end, the most dangerous thing isn't betrayal, it's not seeing it while it's happening.